Hey YouTube, it's Kat from On the Balcony with Kat, and what you are looking at right now is biochar. I am going to be doing a biochar field test this year, and I'm getting ready to charge the biochar that I got when I entered the 1 Yard Revolution biochar giveaway, and I actually won it. I won a decent bucket here of biochar, and I'm going to use it, some of it anyway, for the field trial. So I'm getting ready to do that, and I just wanted to give you a look at what this stuff is or looks like. My hands are going to be black by the time I'm done anyway, but it's interesting material. It's basically charcoal, and it's supposed to help grow bigger, healthier plants. And that's kind of why we're doing field trials. We're testing it. You can find out more about that by going to checking out the biochar field trials from 1 Yard Revolution on Google+, or check out 1 Yard Revolution's videos. He talks about it, and him and Stephen Legary, I hope I pronounced that right, from Alberta Urban Garden are doing this. So they're having a Canada trial and a US trial. And I'm going to participate, so I'm getting ready to get my biochar ready for it. So I thought I'd give you guys a look at this ahead of time. Okay, I have my biochar measured out for this field trial, since the bins I'm going to be using will be my self-watering grow bins. Only hold about 7 pounds of soil. I needed a 10% ratio of biochar to soil mix, so I needed to weigh out 10% biochar, which came out to about 11.2. And for whatever reason, my scale keeps fluctuating between 11.1 and 11.3, so I'm going to assume that means it's at about 11.2. And now I have to mix this with 2 parts compost so I can charge the biochar, then add just enough water to bring it to kind of a damp sponge consistency, and let that sit for a few weeks so it charges the biochar. Now the biochar needs to be charged ahead of time, because otherwise it'll lock up the nutrients and the beneficial bacteria that it needs, and it won't make that stuff available to your plants. By charging it for a few weeks ahead of time, that fills up the biochar with all of the beneficial bacteria and the nutrients that it'll hold, and then it'll help slowly release that into your soil as your plants are growing. And it's supposed to make your plants healthier, bigger, more productive, and all of that. And that's why we're testing this. So anyway, next step is to add compost. And since it's 11.2 ounces of biochar, that means probably roughly 22.4 ounces of compost. So I will hit my tare button. And for anyone who's curious, this is just a regular postal scale that I'm using. And then I will add compost to this mix, and then add water. Well, I got my biochar mixed up with compost, and I've got it moistened to about the level of a damp sponge, so now it's just time to let it set. Let it set and charge. I think it takes about between 2 to 4 weeks, so in about 2 to 4 weeks I'll be ready to start my garden trial with this. And I'll have one self-watering grow bin set up with a mixture of this, well, with this, plus my potting soil mix, and I'll have a control self-watering grow bin filled up with just the potting soil mix. I'll be using the same potting soil for both, and the only difference will be the biochar. I will add the same amount of compost to the other bin that I put to charge the biochar, though, just to keep it all even. So this is ready. Now I just got to wait for it to charge, keep it moist to the level of damp sponge, and hopefully my seedlings will be ready by that point too to plant into the self-watering grow bins. But we'll see, and hopefully this will come out well. And I finally got a bright enough flashlight to show you guys stuff. Got a few updates today. This is one of my dwarf mini bells. Or I should say one of my mini bell peppers. It's a dwarf bell pepper. And it's growing well. I finally got some of them to sprout and grow. So this is one. And I'll also be using mini bells for my biochar field trial. So I've got a couple more sprouted and growing. So, but this one's growing wonderfully well. Yay! And over here we have some more mini bells. These are most likely the ones I'm going to be using for my biochar field trial, if I can speak clearly. And this is a sweet pickling pepper, also called a Christmas tree pepper, and it's growing pretty well, although it looks almost exactly like my mini bells at this stage, so who knows. The lettuce that I was growing in that other hydroponic setup, I obviously had it too far away from the light and it got leggy and it fell over. And I decided I'd just go ahead and leave it. Well, I noticed after a bit that the area where it was touching the soil, or the coir, was starting to grow roots. So I just added more over the top of it and let it go. And this is where it's at this point. And this back here is a little experiment, or I could make a bad pun and say experiment, using an eggshell. I know, bad pun, bad kitty. But this is obviously an eggshell that I have rinsed out and boiled personally, just to cut down on the risk of possible salmonella contamination. And I filled it up with potting soil, and I have, hopefully I'm starting tobacco seeds in it, but they're so dang tiny. I'm hoping I actually got tobacco seeds in there. I don't know. But I'll know shortly, soon enough, if they sprout or not. I did, if I can carefully pick this up, as I knock over my lettuce, I did poke a hole in the bottom as a drainage hole, and then I used this wrong-sized rubber grommet that I got, I'll talk about that another time, as a stand for the egg, and I just set it up here under the light. Eep. Balance it. Get it balanced, and of course I'm using my offhand, so you get to watch me fumble. Come on. There we go. Set my lettuce back upright. So, anywho, that's that. Over here I have one of my avocado saplings that has been growing fine all along. No problems with it. It's growing more leaves out the top and it's doing wonderfully. Now on the other hand, the other one that got the blight in it, that I had to chop back rather severely, as you can tell, is actually starting to sprout from 2 points. So it looks like it might come back after all. I was really worried that I was just going to have to give up on that and let it go, but it looks like it might be trying to recover, so hey. And all my cardboard boxes back there. Since I started my video indoors today, I thought I'd bring you outdoors for a bit of an update. I went to my local garden center this last weekend, and I picked up some ever-bearing strawberries. And I'm hoping that they'll establish well and grow well up here. I've got them in one of my hanging baskets. I'm still getting ready to use this one. It's not set up yet, but I'm getting ready to use this one as a topsy-turvy type upside-down planter. Excuse the shaky handwork as I got to move down off the table I'm standing on. Oh, but I'm going to use that one as a topsy-turvy planter for my Cherokee purple tomato, which is growing really well, and I've been hardening it off for a little while. It did get damaged a little bit when I first put it out because I forgot it in the sun a little too long, and it got a little bit of sunspots and whatnot on it, but it's actually doing quite well now. Here we have my what is it? Red Robin dwarf cherry tomatoes. And one of them, and if it'll focus, come on, focus, 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 focus. Ah, you silly thing. Oh, there we go. It's starting to get, oh, come on, focus. Hello, focus. Focus. Anyway, since I can't get it to focus properly and stay focused, it's starting to get blossoms. Same with the other one. They're starting to get tiny little blossoms here. So they're getting ready to fruit. Yay! This is my Traveler strain jalapeno. It's been acclimated to outside and doing quite well now. This is my oldest, sorry about the shaky handwork, and tallest, sorry about the noise in the background, that's my fan. Turn that off so you guys can actually hear me. This is my oldest and tallest dwarf pomegranate. I actually did prune it back a little while back in an effort to get it to bush out because it was growing kind of tall and gangly. And if you can see, it has 1, 2, and over here 3 new growth points. So it's doing really, really well, and I'm happy with that. I've got my Gala apple tree seedlings and my Nanking cherry seedling all growing out here. And let's see, let's get a little bit of an update on my peas, which I had to move back into the shade because once again the temperatures got into the 80s this last week. Ouch, as I about jabbed myself. But if you will notice, that's right, it's blooming. I'm very, very happy with that. That means I might actually get some peas before this season gets too terribly hot for them, although this weather right now is trying to get that way. But, yeah, some of them anyway are producing flowers. And this one I don't know. I thought it was, but it's awfully wilted. I need to water that up a little bit. This one, I don't know. But that other one at least is growing flowers. And these are doing okay for the most part. They're a little wilted. But it is due to the fact that we have had 80+ degree weather the last several days. Again, unseasonably hot. My carrots are kind of sticking in there. They're a little leggy and gangly, but they're hanging in. I don't know if I'll actually get carrots off of them, but they're trying. And, yeah. Well, some of you may know, last year anyway, when I first started working on my balcony garden here, I had one little self-watering grow bin that was growing what I refer to as cucamelons, although they are also referred to as Mexican gherkins and mouse melons. Well, I've been waiting for them to come back up because they're perennials. And after a while I figured, oh well, maybe I must have, accidentally pulled them all up at the end of the season instead of just cutting them off. So I decided to reuse the bin and grow corn and beans in it. And boy, oh boy, I'll show you what I've got growing on in here. Well, that's my corn. It is a single stalk of glass gem corn that I put in the center. And obviously in the background here is a bean. And another bean. And yet another bean. And another bean. these are all growing up wonderfully. Put them in the sun and all that. But for those of you who are observant, you'll note that there's a few other things starting to sprout. In here, and I realized, golly gee whiz, I guess I didn't pull them all up. My cucamelons are growing. Yep. They finally decided that it was warm enough, I guess, for them to sprout. And I have no idea how that will interact with corn and beans. I'm hoping it'll be okay. I may have to pull something out, and at this point I'm not going to pull out the corn or the beans, so it might be the cucamelons if they get too much. But, well, yeah, that's what happens. Since I didn't know how long or when they actually sprout, I just assumed that they weren't going to this season, and I was wrong. So I guess it pays to wait sometimes, or move things into direct sunlight. Oh, I was really surprised at the size of these beans. I did not expect them to be that big. They're freaking huge. Anyway, this is my grow bag with my Viking purple potatoes, not tomatoes, Viking purple potatoes in it. Although they're not really purple potatoes, they're not even purple skinned potatoes, so I don't know why they call them Viking purple. The flesh is white and the skins are kind of a dark brown. But, oh my goodness, these are growing exceptionally well. A little dust on top of them. And they smell good. They smell like tomatoes, or potatoes. God, I've got tomatoes on the mind, I guess, today. But I can smell these. I smell these potatoes constantly. Oh, there's another one coming up over there. Wow. So I'm hoping that I'll get a decent showing of potatoes. I don't know. There might be too many in this bag planted for it to do really well. But, hey, here's to hoping. At the very least, I'm hoping they'll produce flowers and then seeds eventually, because I want to actually try and save seeds from these. And yes, potatoes do actually grow regular seeds. Just predominantly they're planted from seed potatoes instead of from actual seeds. And I want to try an experiment next year and see which would grow better, seed potatoes or potato seeds. So I'm hoping that these will flower and produce seed pods this year. If they do, I will keep track and show you guys. Oh, I need to stand up. I'm on my knees and they hurt. I kind of took a bit of a hitter yesterday and played human pinball with myself as the ball in my living room, bouncing off of 2 or 3 different things before I fell and collided with the vacuum cleaner. So I'm a little bit sore today. But here's our thermometer. Temperatures are almost in the 80s again, with about a 50% humidity. So it's currently hot and exceptionally muggy. This is my backup thermometer, which kind of gives you guys an idea. But anywho, that's the update. They're getting the pool cleaned up and ready. It opens next weekend, so it will be full of noisy kids by next weekend if the weather holds. I am so not looking forward to that. But anyway, yeah. I have got to turn the fan back on. But that's the update for today. Hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe. Take care. Hope all your growing needs are going well. All of your gardens are growing happily and you're not having too much trouble. And if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, feel free to email me at onthebalconywithkat@live.com. Take care.